Hello, everybody. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Joseph Malto from Ghana, teaching assistant at UCC University of Choice, under the leadership of my boss, Dr. Kokwe Hope, and my student will call me Sir Joe, and that's fine by me. By this video, I want us to do a short exercise, a hands-on on Python programming language using Jupyter Notebook as I share a few tips with you. Are you ready? Let's get started. All right. So this is my desktop. Okay, and I've created a new folder with the name tutorial, and in the folder I have some data here. I have data for Apple, Amazon, econometrics underscore practice underscore data. I have that of what? Google. And so our goal this morning is how to load a data into the programming language. That's what we are going to do. So I'm going to open the Excel, but before that, let's have a look at something as I might be commenting on it. Let's look at the type. All right, let's look at the various type of the data. As you can see, Google is of what? Microsoft Excel, comma, separated value file. The rest are okay, and then econometrics underscore practice underscore data is what? Microsoft Excel worksheet. Take note, these two are not the same in terms of what? The value of the file, or in terms of the file extension. They are not the same. I will hint on that as we progress. All right. So let me just minimize this for now. Then let's start the software. So the Jupyter Notebook, there is the engine to it, or the kernel as we mostly refers to. All right, let me maximize this. Good. So here we are. This is the interface. And at this point, we want to create a new notebook. We want to create a new notebook. So at my extreme right here, I see a new button. All right. And so I'm going to click on it. So you can see Python 3 iKernel. I'm going to click on it to give it a new notebook with Python 3. You know, Python advances every now and then. All right. Good. So this is where we are. This is the Jupyter Notebook. And so if you're not familiar with this, you've had the privilege to get to know how it looks like and what it can be used to do. I'm going to explain some few things here, and then we'll zoom into business. So here is what we call the code cell. All right. This is what we call the code cell. This is where we do our coding, we type our code, our text, whatever. All right. Now take note. You realize when I click outside the code cell, this color here tends to blue. When I click in, it tends to what? Green. What does it mean? There is the meaning to it. When the color turns green, it means this cell is active. And so whatever I type is being what? Recorded. All right. But then when I jump out of the cell, it becomes what? Green. Sorry, blue. And so whatever I will type won't be what? Recorded, or won't be entered at the moment. That is the explanation to that. So this is the code cell. All right. Now here you can see some icons here. They are the toolbar. They are the toolbar, and they help us to make our work easier. There is to save, to add, to cut. When you have something copied, you just click on here, and then here we paste. So they help make our work easier. This is the code bar, or what we call the cell toolbar. This is the code cell. This is the cell toolbar. By default, the cell toolbar is at what? Code. Okay, you can change it to markdown, and we use Markdown to take notes. All right, we use Markdown to take notes. But when you want to code, you have to change from Markdown to code. Like I said, by default, it comes with what code. Now, here where I am hovering over is what refers to as what the menu bar. And so we have the menu bar, and we have what the toolbar, and we have what the code cell. Let's not forget that menu bar, toolbar, and what code cell. Not forgetting your cell toolbar. Is that okay? All right. And so this morning, basically, like I said, we want to look at how to load a data into the software. So loading the data into a software. You see, in the real world, it's not always the case that you have to come up with your details or whatever. You might have access to a data, and so you want to know how to load it to the software, and then from there you start with your analysis or whatever you want to do. Okay. And so we want to get started. Let me use Markdown. Let's have a feel of how it looks like. Let me use double hashtag how to load a data into the Python software. Good. I'm going to give you some 3 points that you must at every point in time remember. First on the list, you must know the package that you are going to use to enable you load your data into the software successfully. So what package you are going to use? Secondly, you have to know as well, you have to know the format in which your data is being saved. So the format in which your data is being saved. The last but not the least, you also know the directory in which your data is saved in. Directory in which your data is saved in. These 3 points is very essential. In order to load your data to the software, you will need to know first of all the package to employ. Don't worry, I'll hint on the package very soon. Also, it is expected of the person to know the format in which the data is being saved. And so by format, is your data saved as a CSV? Is it saved as Excel? Is it saved as a document? Is it saved as a text? You need to know all this. You need to know all this. All right, so I'm going to run this code. Now, when you hear me use the word run, what I mean is I want to what execute everything that I've typed in the code cell. And so another word we can equally use could be to execute, to spill. So I'll be using these terms interchangeably. All right. So to do that, you can press Control and Enter. So press the Control key and then the what? The Enter key. Or You press the shift key and the enter key, or better still, come back to the tool menu. We have the shortcut here. That's what. So it says what? It will run the cell selected below. So this is the cell selected. When I click on this, it will run it. But let me explain something using the control enter and then shift enter. To start with, I'll do what? Control enter. When I run a code using the control and enter, this is what is going to happen. It will run the cell successfully, but then it will not give us access to what? A next line of cell. You can pause this video and join us. So enter, control enter, as you can see, I have run the cell successfully. But you can see there is no cell beneath it that I will do other stuff to it. So in that case, what I will do is to click on this plus sign to give me what? A next line of cell. Now let me delete it. Back to here. Let me activate this cell. Good. When I do shift enter, it will execute the cell or that line of code. And in addition, automatically what? Give me what? A cell below where I will be able to do all that what I have to do. Are we together? So that's the difference between running a cell by using the control enter and then the control plus shift. Whatever you want to do is up to you. Okay. So let's look at point 2 and point 3. Point 2 says the format in which your data is being saved. Then point 3 says the directory in which your data is being saved in. Let's get to know the current directory with which we are doing this work now. So the code pwd can be of help to us. And if you are familiar with the R software, they use CWD, that's current working directory. But in Python, we use what? Present working directory, PWD. Now, this PWD or the present working directory, it enables us to know the current directory in which we are working in. It enables us to know the current directory in which we are working in apparently. Why? It is essential because if that directory does not correspond to what the second point I've given you, there's going to be an issue. The software is going to raise an error. All right. So it is always important that you know what your present working directory as far as loading data into a software is concerned. Another method we can use, which I prefer mostly or which I mostly use, is the list method. That's the ls. I'm going to run it. Good. I love this because for a number of reasons. One, this is a directory, same as what I have over here. Okay. But when I use this line of code, not only does it give me a direction, but it lists all the items that I have in that particular directory. And so in this directory that you are seeing on the screen, these are the items that can be found in it. All right. These are the items that can be found in it. Again, we'll be working on Google data. The Google data that we want to load is not here. It's not here. And so what I'll have to do is what? I'll have to change my directory from here to what? The directory in which my data is being saved in. All right. Okay. Let's do this. I'm going to minimize this. This is the engine. Let me minimize it. Let me open the cell. Now, look at the Google data. This is the Google data. Okay. So this is the directory in which it is. I'm going to copy this directory. You can choose to cut it, no problem. And then let's go back to the software. All right. Now that, look at the directory I just copied. Let me just paste it here. Have you seen? this directory, okay, does not correspond to what? This directory. And so when I try to load my Google data, it will what? Raise an error. So moving forward, what we have to do is what? Change our directory to this particular what? Directory. Why are we doing that? We are doing that because that is the directory in which our data is being what? Saved in. And so doing that will enable us to successfully what? Load our data. All right. So changing, we are changing what? Our directory. When I say directory, I mean what? The path. All right. Now take note, I'm in what? The code cell at the moment. And have you seen this hashtag? What it means is I am passing a comment. And so in that case, the software is going to ignore it as what? A code. And so if you are not familiar with the programming language, these are some of the tips you, you will need to abreast yourself with. And again, as of the making of this video, the idea is that you have some background in the programming language or the Python software or other programming language. That's the idea. And so if this is your first time being introduced to this software, don't worry, I have other videos where I've explained some concepts and you will need to watch that video since this is a build up from there. Because in those videos, I've explained the type of data that we have. We have the string, we have the float, integer, and what have you. So you need to understand all those terms and then we build upon it. All right. Good. Now, to change our directory, we are going to need the help of what? A particular package. We are going to need the help of what? A particular package. And that package is the operating system package. Now, I'm going to import the package. Like I said, OS. Why am I importing? I am importing because I want to use the package. That is why I'm importing it. I'm going to run the cell. It has run successfully. How did I know? Watch here. Have you seen this cell is empty? This is what we call the inputs. All right. Don't worry. Let me use this one to explain. Good. Watch here. In cell 1, this is the input. And when it executes successfully, it gives us what? An output. Cell 2, this is the input. But take note of this. Whenever you execute a cell successfully, okay, whenever you execute a cell successfully, the empty box indicates with what? A number. Have you seen in this case? It is not indicated with by any number. And so it means what? This cell has not been run or it has not been executed yet. It becomes executed when it's being indicated with what? A number. Are you okay? Now let's proceed. After we have successfully imported our software, our package OS, where OS, like I said, operating system. Now, we want to use the various methods and functions in the package. Now, package is the same as module and it is the same as what? Library. So don't be confused. They literally mean the same thing. Some textbooks goes by module, some textbook goes by library, some textbooks go by what? Package. They are literally what? The same thing. Now, I made mention of method and functions. Every package has methods and function. Let me just go by function. Every package has got a function, or in other words, a package is made up of what? Numerous functions. And so after we've imported the package, to access those functions in the library, we are going to need what? The dot notation. Dot notation. What is that? It simply means let's have the package and then what? A dot, and then you run. That's what that statement means. And so here, I have run in line 3 in cell 3. I've imported the operating system package. And so to access the various functions in the package, I'm going to have the package name, so OS. To access the functions in the package, I will need the dot notation. So I have my dot here. Good. And so at this point, if you know what you are doing, okay, you just go ahead. So what are we doing now? We are changing what? Our directory. We are changing our directory. Okay. So it goes with the code CHDIR. Good. That's what? Change directory. All right. But then you see, one thing I love about the Jupyter Notebook is that it is what? How do I put it? It is one software that can teach you. All right. It has the tendency to what? Teach you to use and to master it. So assuming I don't know the code that I don't know the code for the change directory. Okay. And so from here, let me just erase this. After I've brought the dot notation, I'm going to click on the tab key. So everyone click on the tab key. When I click on the tab key, the drop downs, those are what? The functions in that particular library. And so every library has got its own unique functions. Don't ever forget this. And so all that you are seeing here are what? The functions in the operating system package. What do I want to do? I want to what? Change directory. This is it. CHDIR. So I'm going to click on it. You can equally type it and you're good to go. Now, this is a function. Okay. And so I will need to bring my parentheses, or what we call in our local dialect, round bracket. Why am I bringing the bracket? This is because the CHDIR, or the change direction, is a function. And so one will ask, what is a function? A function is simply anything that takes an input and what produces an output. And so I am going to specify the inputs here. Okay. I'm going to specify the input in the parentheses. And so if you're familiar with programming, you might have come across the word arguments. Okay, so the arguments are, to me, basically the inputs, because whatever I'll be writing in the cell, I mean in the parentheses, is the arguments. If one argument, if more than one argument, all right. And so an argument is simply the input that what we specify to produce the output that we want. And so I'm going to specify the direction. So here it means what? We want to change our direction. So the question is, to what directory do you want to change to? We want to change to what? This directory. Why? Because that is where our data is. And so I'm going to copy this. I've copied it and I'm going to paste it here. But because it's a string, I'll have to bring my quote, either a single quote or what? A double quote. Like I said, I believe you have the basics already. This a double quote. And so I'm going to paste the directory. Good. So I want to change from the initial directory towards this particular directory. If I run this, it will give me an error. Well, let me just run it to give me an error. Good. And you see, as a programmer, whenever you come across an error, that's not the point to panic, right? That's the point for you to research and how to correct the error. You see, on the window part, this is how it came, or this is how it looked like. Okay. But then the software is unable to process this because the issue of escape characters comes to mind. And so what we can do in this case is that there are three things we can basically do to correct this error. There are three things we can basically do to correct this error. One, one is we can change the backslash to forward slash. What do I mean? So this is a forward slash. This is what? A backslash. So we can either change this, have you seen this backslash? We can either change those backslash to what? A forward slash. And that will help rectify this error. Secondly, we can do what we call the double backslash. Okay, so we can use the double backslash. So I can change this backslash to what? Double backslash, and this error will be rectified. And the third point is, so you can use using the R string. So using, these are some of the things you will not find in textbooks. You might not even find them in the classroom. That's why it's always important that you engage an expert. This is not to say I am an expert, but then I am drawing your attention to the importance of what seeking assistance. Let me just put it that way. Good. String is a data type, and we've got types of strings. If you are familiar with programming, or specifically with the Python, we have R string, we have F string, and others. Okay. Now, this error here is as a result of what we call what? Escape characters. And so to avoid that, we are going to use what? Any of these three solutions that I've typed here for you, and it will correct the error for us. So which one would you want us to use? Okay, so let's just use the R string. So the R string is how it looks like. I'm just going to type the letter R here, and then that's it. Boom. The error has vanished. It's not magic. This is what? Coding. It's not magic. Now, we have been able to successfully change our directory to this particular directory. Again, I'm going to type this code again, ls, or better still this one, but better still the pwd. Okay, but let me just use the ls and let's verify that. Great, wonderful. Watch here. This is the directory in which our data is being saved. Did you remember Apple, Amazon, econometrics underscore practice underscore data? Remember Google? Wonderful. And so at this point, we are in what? Our present working, we are in the what? This is now what? Our present working directory. and that is exactly where our data is. And as a result of that, we are good to go. Yes, we are good to go. So now, these 3 points that I gave you, the format in which your data is being saved, is it a CSV, an Excel, or a document? The directory in which data is being saved in, and then now the package. The package. Somebody say package. So the package that we are going to use. In this case, loading the Google data to the Python software. Hmm. So just as I imported OS here, again, where is it? In what cell did I import? Good, in cell 3. Just as I imported OS here, I'm going to import another package again. So import, what package am I going to import this time around? I'm going to import the pandas package. Pandas package. Now what this? I'm going to do something entirely different from what I did when I was importing the OS. All right. So import pandas as PD. Good, 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 good. Let me run it. So it has load. Realize in cell number 3, I just said import OS. I didn't say import OS as maybe something, as I have in this case. All right. Here I said what? Import pandas as what? PD. Now, this PD here I have seen is what we term as what? Alias. Is my spelling correct? Ah, that this or this one of them. All right. We are importing pandas as what? PD. What we are saying is that look, I feel the pandas is too lengthy for me to be using every now and then. And so, in place of the pandas, let me just have what? The letter PD to make my work simple for me. PD dot. Other than that, I would have done pandas dot before I have access to what? The functions and methods in the pandas package. Okay, but I have specified that what? Let these pandas be known as what? PD. It's like a nickname. My name is Joseph Mauto Kublenu, aka JMK. At least now I have shortened the name too. So the 3 names have been shortened as what? JMK instead of Joseph Mauto Kublenu. So that's the idea behind what this particular line of what code. I'm saying that look, in place of the pandas, let me just have what PD. I'll be okay with what using PD. So the PD here is what an alias. And an alias is what is being used by what you, the individual. You specify the alias you want to use. Okay. It can be anything. It can be MD. It can be PD. It can be QO. It can be whatever you want it to be. But you see, for us to be on the safe side or for us to speak one language, so that should anyone take your work, he or she should be able to read your code and understand your code. We all go by what? PD. So pan and then what? Das. Are we together? So in most textbooks, you always see import pandas as PD, import NumPy as NP, import Matplotlib library as PLT, import Seaborn as SNS. I mean, they are just what accepted aliases. Not to say that is what is supposed to be or that is a constant format of doing things, but it's just for an investor understanding. So that should someone take your code, the person will be able to what? Read your code successfully. Okay. Now, let me say something about pandas. Pandas is one package that we use for data manipulation, data structure, data operations, and analytic. And so it is one powerful software. Sorry, it is one powerful package that everyone will have to what explore. Okay, it's a powerful package that everyone has to what employ. I mean explore. So now that I've imported the pandas as PD, I'm going to have the pandas. Like I said, to access the functions in the package, you're going to need what the dot notation. Don't ever forget that. Don't ever forget that. Now I'm going to read. So loading the data or reading a data. I'm going to read the Google data to the software. And so if you know what you are doing, you just go ahead to read underscore. So here is very critical. Let me go back. I'm going to press the tab key once. So these are the functions that I said we have in what the pandas package. Now watch here, where we have the read. Okay. From here, you can see read underscore clipboard, read underscore CSV, read underscore Excel, read underscore feature. So those of us that are into machine learning, the feature should be a common term to us. We have HTML, HDF, JSON, Oracle, Packet, Pixel, SAS, SPSS, SQL, query. Have you seen how powerful this software is? So what it means is that what you can read from all these sources to the Python. You can read all these softwares to the Python. Is your data from Stata? Then we have data here. Is it from SQL? Is it from SPSS? Is it from SAS? Wherever it's coming from. That's why this point says what? Know the format in which your data is being saved. Know the format. Yes. Have you seen the importance of that point? To know the format in which your data is being saved. And you see, you don't need to memorize this, the format. You don't need to memorize it. The list method, the ls, will even help us. Watch here in code 6. Okay. Apple is of what? CSV. You all see that? Amazon is of what? CSV. Econometrics underscore practice underscore data is of what? XLSX. All right. So this tells me that what? Look, Apple, Amazon, Google are what? They have the extension of what? CSV. Comma separated variables or values. Yeah, values. You see, if you are dealing in big data, you understand and appreciate the CSV. You see, whenever you save a data with CSV in your Excel, it doesn't assume lot of space compared to what the Excel. Okay, so now that we know the extension of our Google data as what a CSV. That's what we are going to what load, and so I have pd dot read underscore CSV into bracket, jump into it, bring the code. So here I'm using a single quote for now. Like I said, string comes with what? Quotes. Either single quote or what? Double quotes. It's up to you, the programmer. Then, what do I want to read? I want to read my Google underscore CSV. Sorry, Google data. So I have Google dot CSV. Aha, good. You see, I've had an error again. Like I said, in Python, whenever you come across error, you don't cry. It says what? The name pdread CSV is not defined. Like I said, after the package, you always bring what? The dot notation. So when I was erasing back, I have erased the dots. So I'm going to run this again. Shift enter. Boom. Wonderful, 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 wonderful. This is the data. Let's confirm with the original data. I'm going back to my desktop. So I'm opening it. This is the original data in Google. I mean, in the raw format that it came with. So I'm going to open it. So this is it. Have you seen? Let me just extend this border small. Okay. This is it. Open, high, low, close, adjusted, close, whatever. All right. And then the first is what 2nd January 2018. And then let's see if we can find the last. This is the end. Oh, what am I doing? This is taking the whole time. Let me just close it. The idea has been made clear. Okay. Oh no, don't save. All right, so back to the software. So now we have our data successfully was loaded, and so from here we can do and run our analysis as to how we want it. Okay, let me just say one more thing, then that will be that for today. I'm going to make mention of GeoPandas. Just came to my, let me just highlight on it. So for those of us that are into geography, those of us that are into, I mean, geographic information system, what we term as GIS, I will encourage you to what? Explore the GeoPandas package. It is one powerful package that will help you in your field of study. You see, as a matter of fact, this software is applicable in whatever field. I tell you, regardless of your discipline or your field of study, this software is applicable. Python R, Julia, oh my goodness, it is applicable everywhere. All that you need to know is that what packages or libraries am I going to what explore in my field of study? That's all I need to know, and then from there you'll be good to go. You will be good to do whatever you want to do. Yes, and so with the GeoPandas, it has the library for geospatial data. Um, Geospatial data. It has geospatial operations, geospatial visualizations, and a lot. So you have to explore that package as well. Now that we have successfully loaded our data set, let me just say one more thing. Variables. Again, I believe you have the understanding. Like I said, I have a video on that. If you don't, you have to look out for that video and watch. I'm going to copy this cell. All right. I'm going to copy this cell. I've copied the cell. I'm going to paste it here. You see, variable is simply what variable is simply what a container that holds. I mean, every container holds something. Okay, so variable, regardless of how you define it, is a term that we use to represent something. So you see, in our further analysis, if we want to do anything about this data that we have successfully loaded to the software, we are going to need what? Everything here. So everything here. Let's assume, so with this data, let me explain it. It has 7 columns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. In addition to the date, it has what? 7 columns. And then by default, when you open a data in the software, it gives you what? The first 5 top observation and the last 5 observation in the data set. So this is the first 5 top, the last 5 top. So assuming I want to see the first 20 top observation. So as you can see, this 3 dots, it has truncated the data from the top 5 and what? The last 5. So you can see 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 0 here is, Python is 0 index. Okay, Python is 0 indexed. R, by R, I mean the R software. So R software is what? 1. Let me just type it in Word. Python is 0 indexed. R is what? 1 index, meaning with Python, it starts from what? 0, 1 in order, but in R, it always starts with what? 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But starting from 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. Like I was saying, I want to get the first 20 top observations. Okay. I'm going to continue from here, this code. So like I said, I'm going to bring my dot notation again, dot head. So I'm going to specify, I want what? 20. So I've specified it here. I'm going to run this cell. Watch here. Here is what? Empty. So when it runs successfully, it will indicate it what? A number. So first 20, as you can see, first 20 observation in the data set. But the question is, watch here. Let's come back to here. How long are we going to keep on having this entire thing? It kind of looks lengthy. That is what variables comes to help us do. And so what it means is that what? Look, I'm going to assign everything here to what? A variable. Everything on the right hand side, I'm going to what? Assign it to what? A variable. Just any other thing. So that in our subsequent analysis, you just use the variable name. And so it means, let me just use the variable name and df. Okay, it means what? Everything on the right hand side is being represented by what? df. Okay, so I'm going to run this cell again. Now I'm going to call it. Have you seen? Because I've assigned it to a variable, I'm not having the output automatically. I'll have to what? Call out the output. And to do that, I'm just going to type what? df. Let me just get rid of the head there. Let me erase this for now. So df, then I have my data. And so in my subsequent analysis, I'll just do what? df dot head. And I'll specify, let's say 7. Assume I want the last tail, the last 7 observation in the data. I'm going to use the function tail. Now I'll specify, let's say 8. Have you seen? What? It started the number from what? 1489, 1490 all the way to what? 1496. Alright. So have you seen? I use the variable name in all of what? My analysis. Sorry, in the code cell, I use the variable name df. This will help save me typing pd.read underscore csv into bracket whatever. So the variable name helps simplify our work for us. That is why it is important. Again, there is a video on what variable and then how to name variable in Python. Alright, so the Python that we've been hearing of over and over and over again is one powerful programming language that everyone needs to learn regardless of your field. Alright, so let's do one last thing. I want to find the summary statistics of what? The Google data. So the variable name is what? df dot describe This is the summary statistics to all that I have in the data set, and that will be it for today. Look at the counts. It has what? 1497 counts in all of the seven columns. Sorry, six columns. It has 1,497 observations, or rows. That's what I mean by the term observation. Watch here. Here is what? 1496. Why? It is zero index. It didn't start from counting as what? One. It started from what? Zero. Don't forget that. Don't forget that. We can even use ef dot shape. Oh no, it's not callable. So this is telling me that look, my data has 1,497 rows and what? Seven columns. First column, second column, third column, fourth column, fifth column, sixth column. But let me go to the data. So plus the date, making it what? Seven. And so here, the mean is what? The average, as we all know, the average mean. This is the standard deviation, the minimum value, the maximum value. Is that okay? This is the first quartile or the 25th percentile. This is the median or the 50th percentile. All right. This is the 75th percentile, yeah, or the third quartile. And so this gives us a summary of what our data is. So that will be it for today. That will be it for today. As far as our studies is involved, we have successfully looked at how to load a data to our software. So summary, know the package to use. Here we use the pandas package. Know the format in which the data is being saved. Is it CSV, Excel? Okay, let's have a look at how to load an Excel data, and then that will be it for today. What we did earlier on was for a CSV. So how to load an data. So let me say KK is assigned PD dot read underscore. I'm going to use what? Excel bracket. I'm going to, what do I want to load? Econometrics underscore practice underscore data. That's what I want to load. So I'll specify it here. I have my quotes. So I'm going to call it out by the variable name KK. This is the data. Now, with this particular data, there is something I have to explain. It has 2,502 rows and 3 columns. Let me open it in the Excel and let's look at something. Okay, this is it. This data has a number of what? Sheets, and it emerged as one. As you can see, these are the sheets I'm referring to. We have child mortality, cities, US, Cobb Douglas, mortality, high and over. It has what? A number of what? Sheets in it. And so if you want a particular sheet, you have to what? Specify it. So in this case, we will want to specify the sheet of what? The Cobb Douglas. Right? US underscore Cobb Douglas. And so in that case, what we would do is that here I'm going to add additional argument, say sheet name is assigned US underscore Cobb Douglas. Hey, I've had an error. So let's read the error. Oh, I see. I did not spell the Cobb Douglas well, right? So it's just one S. I made it double. Good. I'm going to run this cell again. Ah, so here we are. Have you seen? This is how we load a data to the software. I love Python for a number of reasons. One of the reason is that Python makes you a good programmer. You don't understand this. Python does not make you a lazy programmer. This just a step or two and you are done. To load this is just a step or two. I have some software here. Let's open the Power BI. Good. Assuming I want to load the data that we just load into the software. Here is very simple. Just come to get data, then Excel data, right? Or CSV. And then you direct it to the path. So desktop, tutorials, where are you? Go back. Yes. So we are directing it to the path. Why can't I find the tutorials here? Ah, this is the tutorials, yeah. So, so these are the various sheets that we specified. So we are looking for Cobb Douglas. Where are you? So here it is. Then we load it. It's loading. So US underscore Cobb Douglas. So that's it. We are done. This is it. The data. Have you seen? This is Power BI. Not to say I am underrating or comparing one software to the other. No, this is a disclaimer. What I'm saying is that some softwares gives you the practicality to what code, whereas others are just kind of. I know of one software, it's more of just click, 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 and just they are just going. This is not to say they are not good. They all have their good side and their downside. I'm just making a comparison to the video I've just what taught you guys. So let's come back here as I explain one last concept. You realize here when I made the S in a Cobb Douglas, when I made it double S here, I had an error. This reminds me on something I would like to hint on. You see, Python is what? In variable naming, we came across the term what? Variable or Python is what? Case sensitive. Python is case sensitive. What does that mean? AMA is not the same as AMA, which is not the same as AMA, not the same as AMA, not the same as AM or AMA. Have you seen? Even though it pronounced as AMA, but this one is what? Uppercase A, uppercase A in both term, in both cases. Okay, Python is what? Case sensitive. And so if you are typing a variable name or something, it should be exact. It should be what? It should be exact. And so on that note, we are done for today. We are done for today. So you want to check out my other videos. You want to check out my other videos. You want to check out my other videos. Okay. So thank you for your time. It's been a wonderful moment with you, and I appreciate your time. Catch you later.